So another week, another character discussion video, and today we will be talking about Kaldur'ahm, aka Aqualad, because he is the second person designated on the Zeta Beam designation list, so I'm just going in that order. Anyways, so Aqualad is actually two different people in the original DC comics. Garth, who is also a character on Young Justice that is not the Young Justice Aqualad, and Jackson Hyde, who is a character that's basically Calder with a different name because the DC people realized how popular Calder was on Young Justice, and so they were like, let's just make someone who's basically Calder. And I mean, plagiarizing themselves? Anyway, so basically, and he's also shown up in a lot of other, like, DC kind of things, like in Teen Titans, Aqualad is a reoccurring character who's, like, kind of a ladies' man. I don't really, like, he has, like, there's, like, he shows up and, like, there's that sequence with, like, Starfire and Raven being like, googly hearts. But, there's that, and then, I mean, he basically shows up quite a bit in, like, a bunch of different reincarnations, but the Aqualad of Young Justice is kind of, like, its own creation, because, like, all the different Aqualads are a little bit different, and Jackson Hyde is a ripoff of Calder. Anyways, but, so Young Justice Aqualad is Aquaman's sidekick. Aquaman is King Orin. He's the king of Atlantis. Yay! And so he's kind of like the oldest, most responsible person on the original team, and his whole, like, his power thing is this, like, water sorcery type thing with these weapons he has called water bearers, and, like, you know, like, it's never really quite explained, but it's pretty cool. I mean, like, they kind of, like, morph into whatever and they do watery things, and it's very cool. And, so yeah, and then there's the whole thing. I mean, everyone pretty much knows all this already, but I'm just saying it again to fill up my video. And basically, I mean, he has his whole storyline where he lives in love with Tula, who is, basically his friend, his childhood friend from, like, sorcery magic school, but she's with Garth. Garth is the character, you know, not comics Garth, Young Justice Garth, who is his other friend, and that's really awkward. And then, like, Tula dies, which is really unfortunate and tragic, and, like, the thing is, like, it is sad, but it's happened in that time skip that we don't really know all that much about, and so it's kind of like, I don't know, I at least feel very detached to that, like, whatever goes on in those 5 years that caused all this. And then basically I don't know, like, season 2, he's pretending to be bad. He's pretended to become to have turned cloak and become Black Manta's, like, he's Black Manta's son, and so, like, he basically pretends to, like, you know, like, become a bad guy, but he's actually, like, doing the whole thing with Nightwing where they're, like, trying to infiltrate the light and all that stuff, and it's very, like, ah. Anyway, so yeah. I feel like this Aqualad video is gonna be kind of short because the whole thing with Aqualad is that sometimes he's pretty much forgotten by fandom. And, like, I mean, everyone, it's like no one hates him. It's like no one dislikes him, but no one really, or very few people have, like, really impassioned feelings about him. And, like, he's, like, not, like, it's not like they're like rabid Artemis fans and rabid Robin fans and rabid Kid Flash fans, and they have very, very strong feelings, and they talk about how much they love their favorite character all the time. But with Aqualad, it's kind of just like, oh, Aqualad is cool at the end, which is really sad. But I think part of it might be because he doesn't have, like, a big ship. Like, he's shipped with a few people, like, Artemis, Roy, what's her face? Rocket, sorry. I can't remember who, obviously Tula, but that's kind of like doomed tragedy kind of thing. But, like, he's shipped with a lot of people, but, like, he just doesn't really have, like, a big ship that, like, it draws a lot of people. And so I don't think basically he kind of, like, people kind of lose interest in him as a result, which is kind of, I don't know. And he's also, like, he also has, like, the least drama. Like, I mean, like, some pretty traumatic, horrible things happen to him, and, like, I mean, like, McGann brain deads him, kind of, and, like, other things happen, but, like, for some reason, like, his stories are kind of, like, toned down, and, like, so people tend to forget about him, which is kind of sad. I don't know, like, they like him, like, everyone likes him, like, there was a whole meme, like, back when the companion comics came out with that one awkward shot of him, like, sitting like this, and then, like, everyone made it into a meme, but, like, I don't know, they just tend to forget about him. I think it might just be, like, that I think it might just be, like, his character and his personality, and it's a little bit sad because I think, like, it's, like, that happens a little bit in this, like, in the story itself, too, in Young Justice itself, but, like, I mean, even with the creators and stuff, they tend to they don't POV Calder, like they don't have. I mean, they only did this basically with Kid Flash and with Artemis, where they had like moments of them like actual internally monologuing, which I really hate it when they do that because I always think it's super awkward and also like really clunky, and you have much better ways of doing storylining than like, oh my god, I'm gonna stare into a mirror and you're gonna hear all of my thoughts. Like, I mean, like it was great for Artemis's character when that happened, but like, and it was great for like Kid Flash when he was just running. That way, it wasn't just like him running, but like, it just it's weird and clunky. But then at the same time, they don't do any of this stuff. They don't have a lot of focus on Calder, like in general, like. I mean, there was the one episode that was his episode, but that's pretty, like, an unmemorable episode. Which is really sad, because, I mean, like, I really like him, but I feel like he gets forgotten by me, too. But, I mean, like, I don't know, he just tends to be kind of, like, on the sidelines compared to a lot of the other characters. I don't really know why this is, but, like, I mean, I really like that he's so calm. Like, I feel like it balances out the other crazies, because I think every other person is kind of neurotic on the team in a way. Like, I mean, like, maybe not neurotic, but if they're not neurotic, they're just very loud, and they have a huge personality, whereas, like, Calder is very calm and collected, and, I mean, he gets very angry, but he's, like, always, like, in control, in a sense, and so, like, that's why it was really weird to see, like, evil Calder. Well, I mean, he was fake evil, but like evil Calder because he seemed a little bit like out of control, and he was just like, blood is thicker than water. Ah! I'm gonna attack all my old friends, and it was very like, oh my god, what happened to you? Especially because it was like I haven't seen you in 5 years time skip wise, and it was just very like what the heck. But anyways, like he's just a very like he's so like calm and like collected, and like his voice is very just like it's a very like firm grounded leader voice, and that's why he's like such a good leader. And like so the one episode where they're like all like hating on him for keeping a secret from them about the mole in season 1, that was really sad because it was like, oh, Calder, like it's like he kind of like lost the like role that he was made for, and it was very like I don't know, that episode, it makes me uncomfortable to watch them all be so mean to him, because like as much as like people tend to forget about him, he's still awesome. And like I don't know, it was just very sad. And oh gosh, I just was gonna say something and then I forgot about it. But I don't know, like I just feel like his whole storyline is like equally heartbreaking and equally like horrible as like a lot of the other like season 2 storylines with like Artemis and Nightwing and Kid Flash. Oh. Anyways, but like it's equally heartbreaking, but I feel like it doesn't get a lot of like attention drawn to it. Like I mean, like basically everyone's heart storyline is in season 2 is heartbreaking because it's season 2 and it's Young Justice, and they just like to break everyone's hearts all the time. But like, I mean, the thing with him like going undercover because Nightwing asked him to, and like pretending to get really close to his actual dad, who is a villain, and like pretending to like do all these horrible villainous things in order to like actually like infiltrate the light, and then it turns out he has to go and like turn it around again and be like, no, Dad, I don't like you. You're like, I don't want to be close to you. I'm actually on the good guy's side. I just find that like really difficult, especially because Black Manta, out of all the like parents, seems to be like a pretty good parent. Like, I mean, yeah, he's a villain, but like he still is a good parent. Like he cares about Calder a lot, and he's just like, no, my son, OMG, like Calder is very, very important to him, and like he seems to genuinely really love him. I mean, that's more than like Sportsmaster and stuff can say. And like, and then Calder is just like, no, sorry. And like, I'm sure it was really hard, but like, it just we don't get to see that ever. I feel like, which is why like it feels like his storyline never got like equal impact, compared to all the other characters, which is kind of like disappointing. And like, I don't know. I mean, the one thing that was like a really cool like Calder focus was like when they did the whole fixing his mind thing with McGann and Artemis, and like going into his mind, and his mind was like shattered Atlantis, and that was really, really horrifying. But I mean, it was at the same time it was still like a McGann thing there, because like it was all about her freaking out and being unable to like her insecurities, being unable to like try to fix things, and then like Artemis had to step in, and then like, but it was still like that's like the most we've seen of his brain, literally, kind of. And like it was, I don't know, it's very like, I feel like I've been short thrifted on Aqualad. I feel like I would like him more if like I knew more about him. He seems so like closed off, which I guess is the idea because he's like the leader and he's like the stoic one and the like heroic leader and stuff. But it was just very odd. I mean, like The other thing about him that I forgot to mention, oh my god, how did I forget to mention, but it's like Failsafe, when he goes and like sacrifices himself to save Kid Flash, and it's just like, Aqualad, you are such a good leader. Why? Why? Like, he's like the one who was always going to like sacrifice himself for everyone else, and he kind of does that, but like I feel like it's just never acknowledged. Like obviously it's acknowledged in Failsafe because he freaking dies, but like it's never acknowledged otherwise, because like you have all this huge sacrifice he makes for Nightwing's plan and like all this stuff, and yet it's still like he doesn't get to his like moment of like this is awful. Like Nightwing gets his moment of this is awful multiple times. Everyone gets their like this is awful moment multiple times. Like, and like Nightwing has to be like, hey, look, I gotta step down, and then he's like, look, I'm leaving the team to you, and it's like Aqualad doesn't get a break. Why is this? And like, I don't know. It's weird. I don't really like. I like him a lot, but I don't really know that much about him, and I feel like he's still kind of like a mystery after all the characters who like you feel like you know them pretty well, but then Aqualad's kind of a mystery. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say about Aqualad, Kaldur, and his general coolness. So next week I will be talking about B03, which I think is Kid Flash. I'm not sure. I don't actually know, but I'll figure that out and let you guys know. Anyways, bye guys!